there, everybody. Welcome to a new interview series. I know I said I was gonna stop doing all that random stuff, but one thing I did forget to mention in the update video, I'm still gonna do a decent amount of stuff that's still related to gaming. But now, with these interviews, I'm only gonna be asking these people only gaming related questions. And now, for the first person for this new interview series, I'd like to introduce you guys to FluxNet Games.
Hey there everyone, this is FluxNet here, kind of doing an interview here with Patrick. Thanks for the interview, Patrick. So we'll just get right into it.
When did you get into gaming?
So I got into gaming way back when the first gen of Pokemon came out. I started off with, I think... Well, no, actually, let me correct myself. I really didn't start with Pokemon until the second generation, which was what I started gaming with. So yeah, I started with the second gen. I know for a fact I had Pokemon Silver, which I played a lot of. I grinded that game for a while. I mean, it was hours and hours and hours and hours of playing that game that I did. I had a level 100 Tyranitar that could womp the Elite Four by himself.
What kind of games do you like?
I really play anything if it catches my interest. It doesn't really matter what genre or topic or anything like that. If I find it interesting, I can go from playing a shooter like Call of Duty or Wolfenstein or anything like that to playing a game like Oxygen Not Included, which is a resource management colony type game. So I mean, what type of games really doesn't matter to me so long as I find it interesting. And I know there are some people that just stick to one genre or one type of game. That kind of just limits you to the type of games you can play and the type of fun you can have. You can have fun with all kinds of different games if you just look at them as, hey, I'll give it a I'm always willing to give games a shot, no matter what it is. I mean, you gotta give something a shot at least once.
What fan base in the gaming community would you say is the worst and most toxic?
Now, I really can't speak to any toxic communities. I've never really been one to play a lot of multiplayer games. The really only big multiplayer game I play is RuneScape, and that has a pretty up and up community there. You really don't hear much about RuneScape players really digging at each other or being really toxic or just being losers, so to speak. I mean, I really don't take part in the forums or anything. I really don't talk to many people. I just kind of play it on my own and just leave me alone. Yeah, that's just kind of how I play it. Don't know why, that's just how I've always played it. I've been playing it for a long time.
What is your favorite console?
Now, I never really owned that many gaming consoles. Never really had the opportunity to have a lot of them. I had a PlayStation, Xbox 360, that was really about it. And out of all of those, I really enjoyed the 360. I mean, I also really enjoyed the PlayStation, playing the original Crash Bandicoots and playing those, Spyro and all that on there. But with the 360, I was able to play stuff like Madden, Borderlands, Borderlands 2, one of my favorite games ever. Really waiting for the third one to come out, can't wait for that. I mean, yeah, I'd have to go with the Xbox 360 just because there's also a lot more you could do with it. You could watch Netflix, YouTube, and things like that on there.
What game are you most hyped for?
Game I'm hyped up for, really? Cyberpunk 2077. If anyone hasn't had a chance to look at that, go look at the trailer for that from E3. It is just... oh, I love Cyberpunk. Anime, manga, books, movies, doesn't matter. I love Cyberpunk. I cannot wait for that game to come out. I have it in my calendar. I will have the money the day it comes out. It will be bought, downloaded, everything, and I will boot it up even if it's 4 in the morning and I got work the next day. Guess what? I'm going into work with no sleep. That's what it is. That's what it is. Don't care.
What is one game you would make if you could?
Not really quite sure what type of game I would make if I could. I've never really put much thought into that. And if I were to make a game, it would be something along the lines of, well, it kind of was already made with Kerbal Space Program. I mean, that game... pretty awesome. And it was made by a development company that was the company that made it was more of a marketing company than it was actually a game development company. One of the employees just kind of just was like, hey, can I do this with the job here? And they were like, sure, let's do it, let's see what happens. And it turned out to be a game that Elon Musk with SpaceX and NASA are both looking at. So, I mean, to be used for mission simulation. So that's pretty crazy that on a lark they made a game that two major space agency and a spaceflight company are both looking at using. But back to the question, I've never really given it much thought as to what type of game I would make, and that also kind of would lead into like what development company.
What company would you choose to make your ideal game?
As for a development company, I'm not sure. I would probably pick someone like id. I mean, I've always liked the id's games, you know, Doom, Wolfenstein, things like that. You know, I've always liked their games. Probably be a toss-up between id and probably like Square Enix. I mean, they're always solid. Their games, whether good or bad concepts, the development and everything is always rock solid. And same thing with id. Their games that they develop are always just rock solid. There's no real bugs, nothing like that. So I'd have to pick one of those two.
What is your favorite location in a video game? Like, for example, a town or a dungeon?
And by far my favorite location in a video game would be Pandora from Borderlands 2 and Borderlands. You can invent your own. You can just go there and reinvent yourself and just become someone the polar opposite of who you were back home. You've been a really timid person, and then, go to Pandora and just become this outspoken, loud, bombastic person who doesn't take anything from anyone.
In your opinion, what are 3 of the worst games ever made?
Now, 3 worst games ever made, that could be answered. You could ask 20 people and you could get 20 different top 3s there. That is a very subjective category. I mean, one game that would always show up on people's would be E.T., the Activision port of E.T. Outside of that, probably, Alien Colonial Marines has to be one of the worst. Well, it is the worst Alien game ever made. I mean, an AVP game beat it, and it wasn't even really about just aliens, it was about the AVP movies. Alien vs. Predator, which is based on a comic book. And as for a third game, I really couldn't name a third game. I mean, I'm a pretty serious gamer, but I'm not like a super hardcore gamer. So I really couldn't speak for what I would say is like, I'm not the real authority, really good at answering that question, I don't really pay attention to that. I mean, games are good and bad. Even some of the best games have flaws to them, so no game is ever going to be 100% perfect, 11 out of 10 across the board.
What is your favorite video game music composer?
I really don't have a favorite video game composer. I mean, the guy that did the music for the new Doom that came out a few years ago, I mean, he did an awesome job with the music there, but I also like that type of music. I mean, it's not like you can name a movie composer who, you hear John Williams, it's John Williams. You know that's John Williams when you hear him in a movie, even if he's not with Spielberg or Lucas or doing one of those type of movies. You know who he is just by hearing his score. So I really don't have a favorite video game composer. I never really pay attention to who composes games. I'll really have to start keeping track of that more now. But anyway, this is FluxNet. Thank you guys for taking the time to check out my interview here, and thanks to Patrick for taking the time to do this interview with me. And until if I see you over at my channel, then I'll see you in the next video. Until then, signing off.
Alright everybody, that was the very first gaming interview. And FluxNet, oh my god, dude, you really came up with some very amazing answers and made some good points to some of the questions I asked. Definitely. Like, for example, with the point where you said you had to at least try it out. To be honest, I always judge games because of how they looked. But yeah, you made some good points. Alright, everyone, I really hope you guys go and check out his channel. He is a very, very friendly, very awesome guy. Alright, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. See you all in the next video. Goodbye, everyone.